Hello everybody and welcome to my Flosstube. This is my 2022 end of year WIP Parade. I thought I better get it filmed as we're nearly at the end of 2022, can you believe? So I hope you have all had a lovely Christmas or holiday season if you don't celebrate Christmas. And I am sending a lot of love to those in America who are going through the terrible snowstorm that you're having. I hope everyone is managing to keep safe and well. So, as I say, today is going to be my WIP Parade. I will be doing a separate video for my 2023 plans. I've had so much fun in working out what I want to do for 2023 because I think in 2022 I really winged it. So yeah, lots and lots of fun sorting that out. So I'm going to get straight into my WIPs. I have, how many have I got? 22 WIPs, and I'm actually going to be cutting those down. Yeah, so let's go. So I'm going to do it in order of which I think I started them. So first and foremost is my WIP that I started 25 years ago maybe. It is Winnie the Pooh, Around the Year with Pooh, and it is by Debbie Minton for Designer Stitches. I'm not sure if you can get this anymore, but yeah, this is what it will look like. And like I say, when I was about 18, I don't know, I quite like all things Winnie the Pooh. I've grown out a little bit of it, but I really like this chart, so that's why I've stuck with it. I do have other Winnie the Pooh charts, which I know I'll never ever do, but this one I quite like this one, so I just thought I'd stick with it. So if I have got any before pictures of any of these designs, I will put them in. If I don't show any, it will be because either I don't have it or because that project was started this year. So this is where I'm up to. I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the months, and I've done quite a bit of the stitching in the middle. So I think I did these two and finished the back stitching off in December. But yeah, that's that one. This is stitched on 18 count, and as I say, it's at least 25 years, maybe 25 years old, that one. So yeah, probably should be more done than that, but never mind. So my next one, and I think I started this one about 10 years ago, and I don't even have a front cover picture, but this is Summer Basket by Ellen Mora Stroh. I am nearly finished on this one. Now I know that I have not worked on this at all this year, but this is going into 2023 with the plan of getting finished, and if it is not finished in 2023, then it is being put into timeout because I think I've only got a little bit up here to finish. That is it. So I have no excuse as to why it's not finished. But it's so pretty. This is stitched on 18 count. Can't remember if I said that for the Winnie the Pooh one as well. That's stitched on 18 count as well. But yeah, really, really pretty. I think what put me off from this when I was stitching it was the plan I had of what I was going to do with it. I then realised I couldn't do with it. So that put me off from finishing it, but I think I'll just get it finished and get it framed, because actually I really would like to give this to my mum, either for her birthday, she has a birthday in May, or for Mother's Day, which is in March in the UK. So either one of those, I can kind of get that finished, get it washed, framed and given to her. So that's the plan. The next one is a Dimensions, what are they called? Gold Collection Petite, and this one is Travel Memories. And this one I started in 2020 before I found Heaven and Earth Designs and Flosstube, And yeah, this was my last project that I started that wasn't, yeah, before I found all of that really. So this is where I'm up to. And again, I have not worked on this in 2022 at all. So because of that, this piece is going into timeout. Now, it is a piece that I would like to come back to. It's just not something I'm interested in doing in the near future. So this piece in particular is going to go into timeout. And this one is stitched on the kit fabric, and it is stitched on 18 count Ada. So that's the first one that's going into timeout. So then I found Flosstube and Heaven and Earth Designs. I finished my first one back in 2020. And the next one that I started was my Mini Virus Detected by Randall Spangler. And this piece was the first time that I found 20 count Ada and Pattern Keeper. My goodness. So this is where I'm up to. I just think these designs are just awesome. Now this was the one that I had problems with Pattern Keeper. I was working on it one day and Pattern Keeper just decided to have a little mini meltdown and just completely shut down on me. And when I opened it back up in this chart, it was completely blank, like not even any symbols. The squares were just completely blank. So I've had to reload it and put this chart in and then try and put all of my progress in, which has been far harder than you would ever imagine. I still haven't quite got there, but I am not far away, I don't think. I've been working page by page, and as you can see, I've kind of marked the pages now so that I can work page by page. But my plan will be to finish this second page because I've got most of this second page done, and then I'm converting this to the Royal Rose method of stitching, like some of my other projects. So I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to finish this page and yeah, go from there. So I'm not quite sure where my percentage is. It's about 25-26% roughly. It may even be more than that. But like I say, this is the first one that I stitched on 20 count easy guide. Is that what you call it? The one with squares? You know, the grid already laid out for you. But yeah, 20 count, and yeah, all of my projects are 2/1. But yeah, really liking this one. Don't know why I say that. I say that every time, but because I love all my projects. But anyway, so moving on then, I come to my next Heaven and Earth piece. And when I was looking through 2022, I realised I haven't stitched on this much. And for that reason, that's why I really thought about my 2023 plan, so that I get an even amount of time on my projects, on all of my projects, which, like I say, I will tell you in my 2023 video. So this one is Ornament Healing Rose by Carol Cavaleris. How gorgeous are those colours? So I started this one in, when did I start this one? July 2020, and I also started the Mini Virus Detected one in July 2020 as well. And this one, I didn't have any 20 count Ada, I only had 18 count. And the reason why this was started after my Mini Virus Detected was because I was gridding it myself. And it was only when I gridded it myself that I found out about pre-gridded fabric. So anyway, this one I started, and this one I was in a lot of challenge groups in 2020, and I used this one for a lot of the different coloured challenges. So this is where I'm at. As you can see, there's lots of different colour bits all over, and that's why, because like I say, I used it for different colour challenges. And I've really been trying to focus on this top section to get that bit done. But moving forward, again, all of my pieces now are going to be converted to the Royal Rose method of stitching. So that's how I'm gonna finish this piece. But yeah, you can see all of the colours starting to come out, and especially this top bit. I love the blend of that top bit. So like I say, started on 18 count Ada 2/1, started in July 2020, and this is now at 22.46%. So the next one was one that I love to call Pink Fairy, but is actually Faces of Fairy 178 by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. And this piece has had all sorts of different stitching methods on it, but I finally found now that a stitching method that I love. And this is where I'm at. So I've gone all the way across from one end to the other end. And yeah, I'm just doing a lot of hair at the moment. And hopefully we'll be moving down into her face. So I started working on this in the diagonal, and now I am converting this one to Royal Rose. Like I say, all of my pieces now I'm going to convert to the Royal Rose method of stitching. So this one is stitched on 20 count 2/1, and I started it in August 2020, and this is now 15.3%. So yeah, I'm nearly at the end with the Royal Rose method, but yeah, getting there. And I love this. I really do love this new method of stitching, this Royal Rose method. There is Alison Royal is the person that created this method of stitching, and she has a Facebook page and also videos on how to stitch using that method. So this next one, I just kept seeing so many people stitching it, and I don't know if you're a bit like me, that kind of FOMO, fear of missing out. Well, that was definitely me with this piece. This is Minnie the Mountain Cabin by Dominic Davison, and I was that eager to get it started. I didn't have any 20 count Ada big enough, but I did have a piece of 18 count. So we got started on 18 count. So again, this one was used for various challenges. That's why there's bits all over the place. Now, with this one, hold on, let me see. I've literally gone from edge to edge now. So let me hold that up like that. So that's one edge to one edge there. And you can see there's a bit of black there. So that black was stitched for a challenge. Now, I originally started colour completing. As I don't know if you can see, but there's lightish pink kind of dotted around, kind of here and here. So that colour is completely done and finished. Then I think I just picked a symbol and just went with it until the thread ran out. Then I just decided I wanted to go across all the way to the edge, and I think this is 995 here. And I've completely finished the 995. Now I'm going to be converting it to Royal Rose method. So, but I'm really pleased at the fact that I am one edge to one edge. I do like going all the way across. But yeah, I will be, like I said, the next time I work on this will be converting it to the Royal Rose method. So like I say, this one was stitched on 18 count, and I started it September 2020, and I've done 9.82%. So moving on to my next piece, this is Mini Princess of the Sea. This one I restarted. I originally started this on 25 count, and I was doing 2/1 tent stitch, just because I wanted to try out the 25 count and the tent stitch. I'd done about 7,000 stitches, and I just looked at it one day and thought, nope, I can't do any more like this. I'm not enjoying it. There is no way I could do another 65 odd thousand stitches in this method. I just didn't like it. So with that, I restarted it. I restarted it on my favourite 20 count Ada and my pre-gridded fabric, and as you can see, started in the diagonal and now converting it to the Royal Rose method, and I am much happier doing it like this, and I am now at 4.36%. So I started it originally in September 2020, and then I restarted it in April 2021. And yes, a lot of sky, but the colours just look really lovely. And I think what I'm finding is the pieces that I'm doing the Real Rose method, I'm moving along really quite quickly. The first block of two, so you kind of do two blocks down. So yeah, 2 blocks, if that makes sense. They are good. That first row can take a little while because you're threading a lot of threads, but then after that you park, and the row underneath and the row underneath that and so on becomes quite a lot quicker. So the first row, like I say, can take a little bit longer, but I am seeing a much more progress. I have done much more progress on this piece than what I'd done when I was doing the diagonal stitching. So I am really, really pleased at how these pieces are going. So that is that one. Now this one is one of my favourite pieces. I know you shouldn't have favourites, but this is one of my favourite pieces, and this is Quick Stitch Spirit of Winter Robin. I love seeing robins, especially at this time of year. And this one is by Zero Machete. Hopefully I've said that name right. And this one I started in December 2020, and again 20 count, 2 over 1 full cross, and this is where I'm at. And as you can see, again started on the diagonal, but I have been converting this to the Royal Rose method. Love the fact you can see the start of the robin there. And this one is at 17.94%. I just love it, love it, love it, love it. It is so, isn't it? It's so striking, this one, isn't it? I know there's quite a few people stitching this. Dizzy Stitcher is one of them. Darren Dizzy Stitcher. He's stitching. He's got most of the robin done. So yeah, really, really lovely piece. And like I say, really easy to stitch on. Quite I wouldn't say like massive blocks of colour, but fewer colour changes, if that makes any sense. When you're doing it, there might only be 3 or 4 different colours rather than, you know, a whole heap of colour changes. They're not necessarily colour blocks, but yeah, I hope that makes sense what I'm trying to say anyway. But yeah, really enjoyed that one. Now this one was one of my birthday starts. I try and have a birthday start each year, so this was my birthday start for December 2020, and this is Story Keep Life is an Open Book, New York, by Amy Stewart. You'll see that I've got quite a few Amy Stewart pieces. So I'd obviously already done the Paris version, which I completed in 2020, and I started this one thinking, yeah, I'll fly through it like I did with the Paris one. Nope, didn't do that. So this is where I'm up to. And again, I was doing diagonal stitching, and one thing I found with this piece was I just could not find my groove. And then when I converted it to the Real Rose method, I really did find my groove, and I think I'm 1 square away from the edge. So nearly at the edge there, and again it's that top row where you have to keep threading your needle and starting threads that takes a little bit of time. Again, this method is not for everybody. I know some of you have watched my videos and thought, yeah, I'll give that a go, and haven't liked it, and that's fine. Everybody's stitching is their own way, really. You have to find what works best for you, and this method definitely works best for me. So all these part threads now, I'll just pick up, you know, I can just literally thread my needle and just go and just thread those and stitch those in. So anyway, yes, so this is where I'm at. I've done all of the wording now for Staten Island Ferry, pretty much. And this one, like I say, was started in December 2020, and I'm at 10.22%. and this is another one stitched on 18 count Ada. And the only reason why I started this on 18 count is because my Paris one was done on 18 count, and I want to frame the Paris, New York and London one all together. So then I found Sarah Stitchin Mummies temperature pieces, and I decided to do a temperature tree in 2020. So I started this in December 2020. I started doing the tree, but one thing I failed to do was get the tree fully done, and that's what really held me back because I'm still working on it. So this is for the temperatures for 2021. And as you can see, I am flying stitching here. I am way behind for 2021. So this, I'm on March. So this is going to get finished next year for sure. And when I talk about my plans, I'll tell you how I'm going to ensure that these pieces get finished. So yes, they look lovely, but it would be nice if I had the 2021 year finished. So this is stitched on 20 count. It's a very pale blue Ada, and nothing else I can say about that really, other than it really does need to get finished. The next piece is another Dimensions Gold Collection Petites. This one is Santa's Secret. This is what this one will look like. And this is where I'm up to. Now this piece is in timeout, and the reason is because, as you can see, the face, I don't know, I say as you can see, the face to me does not look right. The skin tones do not look right at all, and does not look like this skin tone on the Santa here. Now I thought maybe it's me, maybe I've done the wrong colour, but I have checked, double checked, triple checked, and these are the colours that is charted for this face. And because of that, it's really put me off. So I probably won't be stitching this, at least for a long time. I don't even know if I want to finish it just to see, just in case. But whatever, I won't be stitching in the near future. So this is in timeout. This is on the 18 count fabric that comes with the kit, and I've just gridded this with, this is like a fine fishing line that I gridded with. But yeah, so I won't be pulling this one out in the near future. So that this one is in timeout as well. So yeah, it's my two dimensions, mini dimensions pieces that are in timeout. So moving on then, I then started my biggest piece, and I am just so grateful that this is my only largest piece, and that the rest of my Heaven and Earth pieces I do choose minis. That is my kind of sweet spot for Heaven and Earth designs, because I do find this quite, I don't know if overwhelming is the right word, but yeah, I certainly wouldn't want to go any bigger with a Heaven and Earth design, and I certainly wouldn't want another project as big while I've got this one on the go. But this is World Travel Bookshelf by Amy Stewart. Is such a fabulous design, and again, I know so many of you stitching this one as well. And this one has been through an awful lot. Let me just grab it. So this was a frame that my boyfriend made me to put on my stand that he also made. So this one I started on the diagonal, then I went a bit rogue, and then I've now converted this to the Royal Rose method, and yeah, really quite pleased at how it's going. This bit along here goes really quite quick. It's just filling in these little gaps of stitches here, but I'll get there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go page by page using the Royal Rose method. But yeah, that's where I'm up to. I feel like I've really come quite far with this piece over the last few weeks since changing the method, which is why I just feel like this method works well for me. So my only dilemma is, when I get to the bottom of this shelf, do I park these threads in a shelf below, bearing in mind I'm going to finish the whole of this shelf first, and it might be quite a while before I get to these threads, or do I end all these threads and just start afresh on the next shelf? Let me know what you think, because I'm still learning with this method, really. But yeah, really, like I say, really quite impressed as to where I am with this. So this one is stitched on 20 count, 2 over 1. I started this on January the 1st, 2021, and I'm at 3.88%. So let me put that one down. Then my next one, another Amy Stewart. I remember picking this chart off of the Heaven and Earth website, and it was only when I printed it out, or printed out the cover, that I thought, I saw it was by Amy Stewart. Until that point, I hadn't even seen the artist of who it was by. And when I saw it was by Amy Stewart, I really was not surprised, because of the fact that I just love Amy Stewart designs. So this is Story Keep Beach Bliss. And yeah, just, when I was a child, I had a lot, every summer we had a beach holiday. And this just reminds me of the beach on those holidays, really. So this one is not very wide, but very, very long. So this is, how wide it is going to be. I've gone from edge to edge. And this one, I am going to grid myself. And I've got a pen now to grid rather than using the fishing line. I'm going to grid myself and convert this to the Real Rose method, because I tried the Real Rose method on this piece before the gridding, and I don't like the Real Rose method without the gridding. It's not that I can't count, it's just for some reason I just seem to prefer it with the gridding. And I'll come on to that in a bit with some other projects. But yeah, so this is how wide it will be. And then this is kind of how long it's going to be. It's going to be a very long piece, but that's okay. So that is that one. I haven't got that much done on it, but I have got 2.25%. It's 20 count, and like I say, May 2021. I actually started 3 pieces in May of 2021. The second piece was because I saw so many people on Flosstube doing it, and it became a bit of a sale. There was Jemima the Rocking Stitcher, there was Elizabeth, I forget Elizabeth's channel. I forget her channel. But anyway, quite a few people doing this next piece, and I was like, I really love this design. I just saw it and just thought, wow, I've got to do this. Another completely impromptu start, and this is Mini Sunflower Cottage by Donna Gelsinger. Donna Gelsinger is another fabulous artist whose work I am stitching a lot of. So this was this one, and you have to love blue, I have to say, with this one. There is an awful lot of blue. And this is where I'm up to. So this one, again, I've gone all the way across, just working my way down. Again, I am going to probably stitch up to about here, and then I will convert this to the Royal Rose method. So I will be gridding this myself. When I'll probably grid it sooner rather than later, and then I will get on my stitching to level up. For some reason I think I need to get a couple of colours. I thought I had every colour for this project, so that's why there's a couple of colours missing from this bit here. I just need to get a couple of those colours. But yeah, just love it, really. This piece is just awesome. So I have done 13.87%. I would say if you haven't started this piece, you honestly, especially if you love blue, or sunflowers actually, yeah, this is the piece for you. So moving on then, obviously July is Christmas in July. I do a lot of like Christmas stitching in July, which always seems a bit weird when it's really hot here in the UK and I'm stitching on Christmas pieces. But this was my next piece that I started. And this one is Millie Checking It Twice by Donna Gelsinger. And this is stitched on a 20 count pearl-ized fabric, and up until recently I was just sort of picking a symbol and going with it really. But I decided to grid this fabric and I've converted it to the Real Rose method. So I am just working my way across the first 2 blocks and then I'll work my way down. And I'll catch up all this, I will catch all the little stitches as I go. But yeah, this is coming along. This cornet here is so confetti heavy, like you wouldn't believe. And I'm talking like 1 or 2 stitches in a colour and that's it. I wouldn't even like to hazard a guess as to how many colours are in this first bit here, but a lot. So again, I've gone from end to end. This is 12.01%, and like I say, it's like a very fine, I don't know if you can see that, kind of, maybe, pearlized fabric. Yeah. So then I really wanted to start this next piece in May of 2021, but I didn't want to deal with background. And I'd never ever cropped a piece before. So I thought, well, I'll give it a go, see what happens. And it took me ages. And when I mentioned to you guys on Flosstube how I done it, you guys were like, did you not know that you can press a button on Pattern Keeper and it colours the whole chart in? Anyway, I won't go into all of that now because it'll be difficult for me to explain without Pattern Keeper to show you. But there is a Pattern Keeper Facebook group where you can find out all these things as well. And anyway, so this one is another one by Donna Gelsinger, You Make My Heart Melt. And as I say, I wanted to crop it because I didn't want to deal with the background. So I wanted to just basically do the heart and the penguins. So I cropped it on Pattern Keeper, and this will basically be what my design will look like. And I am stitching this one along with Ashley, this stitching penguin. She started it, saw that I'd cropped it and thought, actually, why don't I do that? So she cropped hers and restarted. So we are stitching it together, and we have a hashtag, You Make My Heart Melt Sal. And this is where I'm up to now. There we go. I wanted to see, let me hold it this way. I wanted to see where, hold on, if I hold this up as well, I wanted to see where the penguin was. And the penguin's head, literally, you can probably see like a little head shape here. That's where the penguin starts. So I now know where that penguin is going. But like my other projects, I am going to be gridding this and turning this into the Real Rose method, because there is still quite a bit of background and I know what I'm like. I will just do the penguins now and ignore the background. So what I am going to do, like I say, is convert this to the Real Rose method. There are still some gaps that I will need to fill in and just go from there. I'm not quite at the end. I think the end is about here. I think I'm about there with the end, roughly. So I am not quite sure on percentage because I've cropped it. I still need to work out my percentages, so I'm not quite sure, but I don't think it's any more than about 3%. And this one I started in June 2021, like I say, purely because it just took me a little bit of time to sort out the cropping on Pattern Keeper, but I feel like I'm fully accomplished on how to do that now. So moving on, this next chart was one of the first charts that I purchased when I purchased my very first Heaven and Earth Designs charts. I've purchased about 10 all at the same time. This was, I think, in that pile. And this is Quick Stitch April Fairy by Hannah Lynn. And again, lots of people, I've seen this stitch, a lot of people are stitching this now. This was my birthday start for 2021, and I am stitching it on a pink Ada, and it is, what's it called? It's called Blush Pink. Blush Pink, there we go. And I haven't got as much done, but this is where I'm at. And as you can see, I have gridded my fabric all ready to convert this to the Royal Rose method. And yeah, I mean, I love the colours. Absolutely love the colours. So moving forward then, I'm just going to make sure I've stitched every stitch in the first 2 blocks and just move my way along. So given that this is a year old, so to speak, this is only at 3.31%, so I would love to get some more done on this. And as I say, stitched on 20 count Ada. So the next one is my third in my series. I've created my own series, by the way, of the Story Keep Life is an Open Book series. And this is the London one by Amy Stewart. And again, stitched on 18 count, and I was really pleased because I recently finished this next row. So I'm now going to be starting a fresh row when I start this afresh in the new year. As you all are aware, our Queen sadly passed away, and I was at home at that time, not at work, and I was able to do a lot of stitching, and this just felt the right piece to be stitching whilst I was watching the coverage on the Queen and her funeral and things like that. So that's why a lot got done in September time. And this one is now at 11.27%. As I say, it's on 18 count Ada. And I'm really excited to be starting this next row because I'm going to come into a lot more blues in this next row. So apologies if it just went a little bit dark. My light seems to go out after so long, so not quite sure why that happens. But anyway, we will carry on. So that's my London piece. I'm nearly there, nearly there. So my next piece was my temperature typography, and this was for 2022, and this is also by Sarah, Stitchin Mummy. This is what it will look like, something similar. And yes, you would have thought I'd have learnt, but I got quite behind in this one as well. But this is where I'm up to. We had in July our, where was it, here, just here, our hottest day on record for British weather. It was 40 degrees here where I live, and let me tell you, we do not have the infrastructure here in the UK for a 40-degree weather. It was so hot, we just really struggled, and I think we've probably had some of the coldest days recently in December than what we've ever had before. So I cannot wait to see what December will look like as well, given that we've had the hottest day and possibly one of the coldest days in history. So I am going to make this a priority to catch up on, especially between now and the end of the year. I haven't got long. I've only got a few days before the end of the year, but I am going to do my best to make this a priority and get as much done as possible, because it actually does stitch up really quite well. I've got all the temperatures, it's just a case of stitching. So yeah, and you would have thought I'd have learnt from the first one that I got behind in not to get behind in this one. So I'm going to try a third time lucky next year, which again I will share more about when I do my 2023 plans video. So then I joined the sale that Lauren cross stitch bunny started, and this was a Christmas memory chars. And for some reason, during the middle of this Sal that she created, I just didn't stitch on any of it. I actually can't even think why I didn't do that. So I got really behind, and I think at the beginning of December I had the back stitching of the bottom 3 and then the top 3 to do, and that's all I had to do, she says. And I don't know if it's because I put a bit of a time pressure on it or what, but it just really put me off stitching on it, so I didn't do it. Didn't get it finished in time for the Sal finishing, but that's okay. I think you've got to enjoy what you're doing, and I just felt like I was under a lot of pressure, and I'm not somebody that really likes just committing to one project at a time. I know that about myself now. So anyway, I picked it back up recently. My boyfriend got me a new frame. He made one out of the plastic, you know, plumbing piping. He made one of those for me. But this one is a wooden one. I think he got it from Amazon. Luca, I think it's called a Luca S frame. And this is perfect for my smaller projects. So I can have my bigger Heaven and Earth designs on my plasticky one, and then my smaller ones on this wooden one. But this is where I'm up to. So, as you can see, I haven't done any on the top 3, but I am, let me bring it a bit closer, I am getting closer with the back stitch on the bottom 3. I still need to do the back stitch on the middle 3, but the bottom 3 are really coming together. So I'm really pleased about that. So again, I have got plans for how I'm going to finish this in 2023, and I will share that with you next time. But this is stitched on 20 count white Ada. And one thing I found with it though, with the 20 count, there's a lot of what I would call fractional back stitching, and that's really quite difficult with all of the different colour changes, because it does get quite, mine has got quite sort of thick at the back because there are a lot of different colours in those jars, and it's not always as easy to do the fractional back stitching. I think that's what you call it, but I think you guys will know what I mean anyway. So I haven't found that as easy, so it doesn't always look as good as what the picture looks, but from a distance it looks fine. So yes, quite happy with that. But I obviously started that in July 2022 because that was, like I say, Christmas in July, and that's when the challenge started. And for those that have finished it, my goodness, it just looks so amazing when it's all done, and I can't wait to get it all finished, to be honest. So in my last Flosstube video, I asked for your help in choosing which I would start next with a new Heaven and Earth design start, and the choices were Minnie Deer Creek, Millie, Love Letters Shop, and what was the third one? Oh, Minnie Vaccinated. And you guys chose Minnie Deer Creek. So this was what I started on my birthday this year in December. I had my birthday this month on the 13th. So this is what I started. And for those of you who've not seen the chart, it's Minnie Deer Creek here by Donna Gelsinger. And I am stitching on a greenish fabric called Mossy Green. And I've done all my gridding, and yeah, you've guessed it, I'm stitching the Royal Rose method. Now, I only had a very tiny start because I actually thought it was one of those days, my birthday, where I thought I'd have like quite a bit of time during the day to stitch. I knew that I was going out for a meal in the evening, but I thought I'd have quite a bit of time, and family turned up, which was great. I love, you know, love to see the family, but obviously didn't have much time to stitch. So I think I've only done 400 stitches, but I'm just loving this colour fabric. It's very different. Now you might be thinking, well, why do I do my Heaven and Earth designs on coloured fabric? And it's because I would like to have a tiny little coloured border with fabric as well when it's framed. So 400 stitches, Royal Rose method started. This is my very first piece that I have started with the Royal Rose method. I may have converted lots of projects to the Royal Rose method, but I've never started a project with it, so this was really quite nice to actually start the project. And I love the fact that I've now gridded and I can see exactly how far along these designs go. So this one, like I say, 20 count mossy green fabric, and obviously I've only done 400 stitches, but I'm at 0.51% already. So that is a whistle-stop tour of all of my WIPs. As I say, I'm taking 2 out, I'm putting 2 pieces into timeout. So I'm going forward into 2023 with 20 projects. That won't last long though, because I've got plans already to start new projects, which I cannot wait to share with you. But before I go, I wanted to just very quickly share my finishes for 2022. When I was reviewing the year, I realised I only actually had 1 finish. I've counted these next pieces as one finish because they are the same design. And these are the booties that I made. The blue pair and then the pink pair. And I've still not washed or fully finished them. So that is a job that I need to do. So these were the only things that I finished. And what I realised was when I was looking through, for anybody that doesn't know, I love to record my stitching in my planner. And there were just some months. So for example, where was it? February, I did, I think, about 3 hours worth of stitching. Whereas other months, I don't think I could put my needle down. My needle was literally on fire that in October. So it really made me think about my plans and what I want to do, and I would love to get more finishes. I'd also like more starts, but not necessarily having a nurse design starts. Definitely I've got some of those planned, but I've also got some non-full coverage starts planned as well. So yeah, can't wait to share that with you. I probably will be filming this a little bit later on, ready for you for tomorrow, hopefully. So I'll get this video out today, my 2023 plans either out tomorrow at the very latest by New Year's Day, so you know what it is I'm working on. And yeah, I cannot wait to share that with you. Thank you so much for staying with me. I really do appreciate all of your support. 2022 has been a fabulous year for stitching and for watching all of your Flosstube videos as well. And I cannot thank you enough for all of your support on my channel and for every subscriber, every new subscriber, and for all of you for watching my videos. So here's to 2023. Thank you guys, take care, and as always, happy stitching. Bye for now.